The R-rated stuff's a little spicy. Escaping the stress. Healthy or not. Experience adventures and relationships, drama. I initially began, I think like many people, with the Harry Potter series. I didn't want to pick up a book. Let's talk books. My old lady and my troublemaker. Hey guys, I'm Tonya if you're new to this channel. If not, thanks for coming back. Today's been a really chill day. I just really wanted to film this video and get it out and edited. And it's been a really just hangout day. Sunday morning, we spent in the kitchen making some muffins, and then late morning in the garden. But I really wanted to pop in and just have a little chat with you about books. So I wanted to put together a list of some that I really enjoyed and hopefully get some recommendations from you as well. I have multiple categories within that. Not sure if I've introduced. We have Rhea and Crush here, my old lady and my troublemaker. Just kidding, she is a troublemaker as well. So back to books. I really enjoy reading books, and I have had periods in my life up and down where I read a lot and then I just stop for a while depending on how life's going. So working in the clinic, when I was working varied shifts like 40 to 50 hours a week, I was mentally and physically exhausted. I didn't want to pick up a book. Same as school. I've done quite a bit of years of college, and when you're being forced to read, you don't want to read for fun on the side. But right now, I am back into it. After I had my daughter, I also couldn't find time for that. I was just so exhausted and busy. Not to say I'm not busy now, but with that being said, I think it is so good to read. I initially began, I think like many people, with the Harry Potter series. My sister's a big reader and she recommended that I read it. So like 5th or 6th grade, I started reading that. It introduced books to me and the possibility really of being able to live other people's lives in an extent, or to an extent, and experience adventures and relationships, drama, and just things that you aren't going to have in your usual life. And at that point, when I first began reading, it also was an opportunity to escape my life. So I kind of use that as a response to stress as well. I can read and relax my mind to an extent by escaping the stress. So, healthy or not. So I have my nice little pile of books here. There are so many ways to access books nowadays, and I actually have been listening to Audible a lot, especially for books that I don't necessarily want to buy and keep on my bookshelf, trying to minimize stuff. Maybe if I want to reference it in the future or reread, I would purchase it. I have been listening to Audible a lot while working out or working or mowing the lawn, cleaning the house. It's very handy. And then also Kindle. I have a Kindle. It was one of the best gifts that my husband gave me for Christmas, and I like that for like in bed or on the couch. More of a chill reading where it's like dimmer lights. I love that the screen is lit. And then of course hardcover books that you can actually hold and keep, but they tend to be a little bit more expensive and take up space. I do feel grateful to have all these different options of ways to access books and so many books, and so I'm very grateful for that. Okay, so I have a few categories that I'm going to be sharing in. I have fantasy, some relationship and self-development books, some parenting, and then actually one of my favorite is the kids category. Okay, so the first category I'm going to do is that fantasy one, which actually all of those were Audible or on my Kindle, so I didn't actually purchase them other than I have this set of Harry Potter, because who doesn't? So most recently I listened to The Fourth Wing and The Iron Flame, which is the second book to that series. I think there's going to be a third one. I'm not 100% sure, and I had seen an article about potentially like a movie. I don't know. It is very fantasy, sci-fi, and like has to do with riding dragons and trials, and then there's, you know, the R-rated stuff's a little spicy. So I really enjoyed that one if you like that type of book. I also have House of Night, that whole series. I read that a while back. It has to do with vampires, and then also powers and gifts from the gods. So that one was fun for me as well. I have Hush Hush. That was angels and trials in that aspect. There's a whole series on that. So then the next category is more of self-development, and I did a lot of these on digital, actually all of these on digital as well. So I'll list over those. So that'd be Audible or Kindle. We have digital minimalism, and so all of these books, I think it's very important to take what works for you and applies to your life and beliefs as well. So there's going to be, theories or thoughts or statements made that you might not agree with, and that's okay. Take what works for you and mold it to how you want to be. So anyways, digital minimalism is very interesting. I found a lot of the data on like the Facebook and the social media, and how they've turned things that make us tick in our brain and turned it into a way to really capitalize off that and make us addicted. So that actually is kind of really gross to think about. But I can certainly say that I love that social media like response to those likes and things like that. I mean, I love it when somebody comments on my videos. So please like, subscribe, and make a comment on this video, whether it be a recommendation of a book that you like or what you think about what I have shared today. So we have Atomic Habits. It is about building your habits, like healthy, goal-oriented. I liked that one, but I guess that's one that I need to go back and reread or re-listen to and kind of figure out how I'm going to mold that into my life. I listen to The More of Less, so that has to do with minimalism because I am working towards decreasing stuff and chaos, basically, and clutter in my house and my mind. And so I think that would be very helpful in my stress and just having less stuff to take care of. Essentialism, that also is teaching you to really look at things and decide like what you prioritize, your time and objects even. So I really liked that one. And then one that was recommended through a book club for early women's career, something like that, was The Good Enough Job. So that one again has some really good information, really good bullet points, I guess, or topics and talking points. It does kind of get interesting and then it goes up and down on that. So I do just recommend just listening or reading through the whole thing. I think it is very beneficial in your career. And okay, next category is relationships. I don't have a lot of those books. So I do have The Empowered Wife, which that one again is one that take what you want, leave what you want, and then hopefully build your relationship to be a bit stronger and better if that's something that you're struggling with. That's one, again, I would like to re-listen to, but prioritizing to re-listen or reread things isn't one of my things. I would prefer to listen or read something new. Then the next one is 5 Love Languages. I will always have this book. There's even a quiz online you can do that includes the different love languages, and you can discover yours and your husband's or your significant others. I still go back to these principles and I'm like, okay, I saw or didn't see what occurred as love, and how did my husband perceive that as well. And I've noticed also throughout our relationship and our lives, like our love languages change. So one of the tops for sure. Lots of talking. Okay, so the next subject is parenting, and I am still always looking for recommendations on this. I have quite a long list of the books that I would like to listen to or read also in this category, because I will never be a perfect parent and I can always strive for it. So starting out, Bumpin', it was one of the better pregnancy ones to me. And yeah, it's been a while since I did read this one. Obviously, it was when I was pregnant and my daughter is almost 2. So I am currently reading this one, Hunt, Gather, Parent. It is very interesting to me about some ancient cultures and how they raise their children and society versus the Western parenting, which I'm not a huge fan of. But this one, they go into so much about reacting or not reacting for discipline and how they communicate with their children and teach them. It is super interesting. Whenever I feel like I am not being a good mom, or I'm going back into like the Western culture style parenting where it's like ultimatums and forcing the kid to do what I want and not giving them the feeling of having rights and feelings and really freedom or opportunity to make decisions and think things through, I like to start reading this again. So I have not finished it, but I think this one will be a continuous read, like forever, as long as I have kids. Highly recommend. I have Touch Points. I am still reading that because it is, what's the age? Birth to 3 and my daughter's 2. So it has like different milestones and development depending on age, and then in the back it has some extra information like challenges to development and power struggles and like television, things like that. So this is written by a doctor, and I really do value a lot of the information in here, but then there's also some, once again, information that I'm like, that's not for me. I choose to think something different. In particular, off the top of my head, is like potty training at like 3, 4, 5 versus elimination communication earlier, which we have been doing. So another good read, but once again, take what you can apply to your life and what you believe. Okay, so that's that section. Then one of my favorites is the kids. So I have some of them are in the car, some books are in the nursery, and my daughter's sleeping right now. So one of her top favorites, and we read it almost every day, multiple times a day, is I Am a Bunny. And it is, I don't know, simple and adorable and pretty, and she just absolutely loves it. It is by Richard Scarry, which I don't know about you, but I grew up watching The Busy World of Richard Scarry. Did not realize that was an author. So I love that. And yes, highly recommend. We have this one all the time. So my daughter really loves books. Obviously, she doesn't read yet, but she reads. And she, like, if she's quiet, I'll find her in a corner reading a book. On her potty, she'll read a book. We have books in the car. She just loves them, and I want to encourage that. So through the books that she enjoys, I'm going to continue buying those authors and encourage that. So we have a classic, Brown Bear, Eric Carle. He is kind of amazing and unique on how he does pictures. This one's really cool because it's a bit interactive, and we love that. So anything by him, basically. We also have a whole like little mini book series. I got so many of these, and these are perfect size for traveling or the car or whatever, and they're just simple and adorable. A couple pages, so highly recommend that. I'm going to probably purchase more of the boxes to have like more variety in topics. Along with that is another one of his, and this one's like all the things in all the books. Let's see. Yeah, so I can identify like these same animals in like these other books. Let me see. For instance, this one's the sea. So I love this. They can kind of like hold 2 different books together and make them the same. I love this. So highly recommend from that author. I also have Lift the Flap, another interactive one, and this was one of our first potty books that she loves. So yeah, it's just so fun. We have several of these. Just so cute illustrations. So, and then I have another one that my daughter absolutely loves in the car, and I actually got it from the dollar spot for $3 at Target, which I don't usually shop there, but it was around Halloween, and it's a little monster one. It's got glitters and like different shapes to the pages cut out. It's like one of her top favorites for the car, so it's always with us. And then one of my favorites in the kids section is Welcome to the World, and it's just one that really touched my heart and made me cry when I first had my daughter. So it's super cute illustrations, also using different like patterns, and it almost looks like textures and different styles to fill in the space and the objects. It is just super fun, so I really like that one. So that's going to conclude my list for today. I really would love for you to share your thoughts and recommendations, and I just appreciate you watching my video and being here and joining me on this lazy, comfy day where I get to just hang out with my daughter and record some videos for you. Just know I really appreciate you, and don't forget to look for the simple joys today. Have a beautiful day.